I do know that a lot of triads or thruples, the original couple does keep their anniversary still separately, which I think is fine. If everyone's discussed it and that's how they want to go about it, like you're all adults,
100%.
do it.
Yeah.
But like you guys decided to do it that way and that works for us.
Yeah, it was just a personal decision of how we wanted to really, really show like our
Like inclusive.
want or like how important this relationship of the three of us
bought
is.
in.
Yeah.
So I think they sound like.
Nope. No, I don't think that unicorns make that noise.
They are mystical creatures, so
Well, are they horses with horns?
I think so.
I think they could fly too, right? Like I think unicorns are known to take flight, kind of like Santa's reindeer.
Yeah, with
with a rainbow behind them.
Well,
Right.
I think they like their gas is rainbow.
What?
Yeah,
This is
Listen,
facts.
Yeah,
Facts of unicorns.
I didn't choose this. This is what it is. So, but you know, what I do hear is that hunting them is frowned upon.
It is not looked highly in the polyamorous community, huh?
It is
No.
not.
So, unicorn hunting is a big topic when it comes to in polyamory, at least, especially when we first started like going on social media. I feel like we heard that term all of the time. And it took us a little bit to kind of understand what that meant, which
Well, yeah, because when we started, we didn't even know what that term meant. We didn't even know that was a thing that people do, which I think our situation is a bit different. I don't think we went out unicorn hunting.
yeah. So when we first started out, people probably would have considered,
Without knowing the whole story.
would have considered what you guys did unicorn hunting, right? Well, should we read what the definition is?
I don't think so because like we've talked about in our past episodes and I think in the ebook, it wasn't Alana and I looking for a third. And when we met you, you were in a relationship.
This is true.
So
You guys were looking more too for like you said,
Experiment.
like swinging, not so much like
Not
a
even
relationship.
swinging, because we weren't looking for another couple necessarily, but we were looking for more of a sexual or
Experience to
yeah.
see
an
who-
experience, but not. We weren't specifically looking for a relationship or looking for someone to become ours. Like,
this
Yeah.
is true. This
which I
is true.
think
So I think we're
is
exempt
what
from that definition, which I believe I have the definition right here.
Yes, please.
Excuse me. Unicorn hunting is when a couple in a relationship looks for a third person to join their relationship, either temporarily or permanently. The term is often used to describe when a heterosexual couple seeks out a bisexual woman to join their relationship, but it can apply to any sexuality or relationship status. The term is considered negative by polyamorous and the LGBT community because it can be a form of fetishization.
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 That's hard to say.
That is hard to say.
Well done.
Here are some issues that can arise from unicorn hunting. Power dynamics. The established couple has power over the unicorn. You may feel uncomfortable expressing their desires, or rather, who may feel uncomfortable expressing their desires. Boundaries. The boundaries that a couple has worked on for years may not work with a unicorn. You may need to, or that may need to be reevaluated. Whoever wrote this needs to go back to school.
I swear I didn't write it. I
know
just
you
I
didn't.
just
It's
printed
from-
it off the internet.
Yeah.
This is just Google.
Yeah. Expectations. The unicorn may be expected to be exclusive to the couple and to date both partners. Safety. Unicorn safety and security may be put at risk while the couple is prioritized. And then it says some questions. Danger. Some questions that people in a relationship can ask themselves before unicorn hunting include: what are my individual needs and wants? What can I bring to the relationship? Are my expectations reasonable? And am I creating a safe space for each person
They wrote that too. Weird. That's why he read it like that.
Yeah, it's all this person's fault.
experiences?
Okay, so before we go on, let me read this really quick because I also thought this was interesting. This is from Naturally Polyamorous. So it says ethical triads versus unicorn hunters. So unicorn hunting would be considered the couple is finding someone to fit, whereas the ethical would be organically formed by everyone involved.
We're really good at reading around here.
Yeah,
We do
it's
it
good.
all the time.
Unicorn hunting would be the relationship is designed by the couple without input. The other side of that would be all partners establish agreements and boundaries. Unicorn hunting relationship requests read like a job posting. The other side is relationship requests express equality and equity. Unicorn hunting dates outings require all three people. On the other side is you can do it with anyone involved.
Yeah.
Next one is couples privilege, veto power. The other side of that is relationship issues negotiated fairly, no default privilege. The next one, all partners are expected to love the triad. The other one is all partners have the freedom to love who and how they love. And the last one is triad can be ended by the couple without input. Mm-hmm. The other side is all partners choose to open, close, or end the triad.
Yeah. So in hearing yours, because when Kevin was reading his, and I heard like the couple kind of makes the decisions, I remember learning about what couples privilege is, because again, we didn't know about unicorn hunting or couples privilege or hierarchy in relationships. And we were learning a lot of polyamory as we were already in this relationship, because again, we didn't start out that way, but we decided because we all developed feelings to go ahead and have an actual relationship. So as we were starting that out, we were learning a lot as we were like in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I heard about couples privilege and how like a couple can make decisions and they can't, like in our situation, we didn't.
Yeah. So like
We
what's
didn't take
something that
charge
you can
and
think
do
of in that situation of either of you guys, like that a couple would make the decision on and that would kind of hold the power and like the unicorn per se wouldn't have any say? Like what's something can you think of?
So one thing I would say is I think it was based off of the story we read on one of our past episodes where the couple didn't want to be out, but the other person was like, I think that's like, I'm fine being out. And they didn't want anyone
To know about it.
Yeah. So that is like kind of a power dynamic that, you should all discuss before getting into that kind of relationship.
Absolutely.
Is what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
I do think just in general, making decisions of like you said, the veto power, like couples can just veto anything of like, we're not ready to have you move in, so it's not happening. Like, yeah, there was a time where maybe there was some new things for us that we were like talking about with you. Like we had you a part of the conversation.
I guess that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is everyone being involved?
But I think in situations of like unicorn hunting, of having that third person, it's like the couple can just be like, we made this decision and like we're not going to hear your input on it. Like you don't have a say. It seems like.
Which that's rough. That's hard.
Yeah. And I also think like the idea of us, if you keep that language of us and you, you're immediately or by default creating a divide.
Like using third.
Using third, but also like when you're referring to, you're not just referring to you, which you should be. You're referring to us, which immediately puts you on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, we talked about it and we decided this, or
that would be
we didn't
hard.
feel comfortable, right? You immediately are put in an isolation bubble of like, okay, well, I guess I'm just by myself in this, and you're not treated equally. Yeah, there's like that hierarchy of we have more say. Tough luck if you don't want it. And we've actually had quite a few people reach out to us of like, their heart, I think, is in a good place. Like they're looking for this kind of relationship, but they don't know how to go about it. And they're like, my husband and I or my wife and I want to find a third person. They need to have X, Y, and Z, which I think it's fine to know what you're looking for and to be on the same page. But for example, in our relationship, when we decided, the three of us, to come together, Alana and I had a discussion to end our relationship of the two of us, and we're going to create a brand new relationship, the three of us. We have those memories. We have the past because we were together for years before we met you. But in our heads, the mentality is no, this is a new relationship. It's not our relationship, and then you're coming into our relationship.
Which I will say, as someone coming into a relationship, that is
well, that is, I must say.
very helpful. Like that is, like for me, just made me feel a lot more comfortable the way you guys went about doing that. Which I'm sure in some ways might have been a little hard and uncomfortable for you guys.
It's not necessarily hard and uncomfortable because, I mean, the way that it's explained is kind of, it's to really show that there was like a new beginning versus like talking about it of like, we decided to end our relationship.
Yeah.
I know it might sound extreme, but it's like, it's really to show the transformation of like, it's not going to be just you and I, like you and I alone don't make these decisions. There's three of us and we respect this relationship as a whole and we are a relationship as a whole.
Yeah.
So it was really more like metaphorical in a way
like
of
a
saying
mindset that you guys decided to like switch into.
But that didn't change our relationship in any way. Like we still have the love that we had then. Like it's still the same. It's more like we've continued to grow our love.
But we don't keep our original anniversary.
Yeah.
We don't, and we don't look at the relationship of me and you plus Megan.
Yeah.
It's the three of us are all equals in this, and we have one anniversary date. And I think for some people, the way I say it, the reason why I say it this way is to shock people.
Yeah.
Is to make people aware of like, yo, if you don't the reason why we did it, because we had discussions of how would it feel being in Megan's position. It's already probably difficult. And then emotionally, she knows that we have a past. And let's try and make it as easy for her because we love her. And like, when we thought about it, it does make sense to shift the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah. And I do know that a lot of triads or thruples, the original couple does keep their anniversary still separately, which I think is fine. If everyone's discussed it and that's how they want to go about it, like you're all adults,
100%.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you guys decided to do it that way and that works for us.
Yeah. It was just a personal decision of how we wanted to really, really show like our
Like inclusivity.
want or like how important this relationship of the
Yeah,
three of
we're
us
bought
is.
in.
Yeah.
There is one thing on this list that I don't know if I necessarily fully agree with personally. So it's all partners are expected to love the triad, which that's the unicorn hunting. And then
Wait, I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you mean?
so the two sides, so unicorn hunting, like, which is looked down upon, is saying like everyone's expected to be in love with one another.
Okay. What's the
other way is all partners have the freedom to love who and how they love. So I've heard a lot of times with it being looked down upon of like, say a couple being like, okay, we're going to find someone and they have to fall in love with both of us. And that's looked down upon,
okay.
which is interesting to me.
Yeah, I kind of think though, if like we were going into this of like, okay, let's open up our relationship to find a third because we wanted this kind of relationship. I think that's okay to want to know or to know what you want.
Right. But that's something, like I said, that is kind of frowned upon, and that it should be like, oh, well, say Alana falls in love with me and you don't, then like me and Alana should still be able to have a relationship. But that dynamic is totally different. Like that's a whole different kind of relationship. And I think it's okay, like you said, to say this is what we're looking for. If we find someone who doesn't happen to have feelings for both of us, then this doesn't work for what we want.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. Everyone's like an adult. You're consenting. You go into it telling that other person, this is what we're looking for. Like, I don't see the problem with that, but I've heard
If everyone is consenting.
Yeah.
But I've still heard negative on it.
I do hear what you're saying because that, like you said, does change the dynamic. So that would be more like open polyamory, like if you're dating individually. But for us, we wanted to do this together and find someone to.
Like, we didn't want to get out of our relationship. We were happy in our relationship with each other.
Well, no, in this case, you would still be together.
Yeah.
It's just that, say, like Alana would be with me separately.
Yeah, and I think that's fine too. Like if that situation works for you, cool. You know what I mean? Like I think in this situation, say this exact scenario that you're talking about, we meet you, you guys really kick it off. We kick it off a little bit, but ultimately you're like, I really am in love with Alana. You're great, but I feel more like a friendship with you.
Yeah.
Whatever reason. And Alana is like, I really love her too. I would be like, okay, that's fine. Like you guys can be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that would be a discussion.
But
that
it
the
wouldn't
three
be the
people
same
could
kind of relationship.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what Megs is trying to say is it's a different dynamic. So if you're like, it's okay to have those certain specifications of
Going
like,
into it.
we're going to go into this together. Like, I think that's okay.
But here's the thing too, say if you felt differently and that situation happened and you said, that's really not the dynamic I want. Like, I don't want to be dating you, Alana, who's then dating someone else, who's then involved now in our relationship, but I'm not romantically involved with that person. Like if you felt that way.
Yeah, if I felt that way, I think it would be important for me to voice that. Because just because you two are happy, if a third member in the party, in any scenario, if a third member in the party is unhappy, then you should raise that alarm and have that discussion of like, maybe you two stay together and I date someone else. Maybe who knows what the situation could be. You know what I mean?
So I guess I'm saying it's okay, in my opinion, to go into it with a preference.
Yeah.
And the preference with a lot of people that reach out to us and a lot of people I think are looking for is we both find someone that we both have feelings for. They have feelings for both of us. Like that's the ideal situation, I think, for a lot of people. And I think it's okay to go into it looking for that. If it doesn't happen like that and you have to have another conversation later down the line, then that's there. But
Well, and I think going back to what Kev had just said of, you know, say that you and I really hit it off and then it wasn't the same, like for you two, that to avoid the like couples privilege, because I think where that could get not okay is if he just came to me and was like, we're not going to do this anymore. Like we're ending this with her.
yeah,
And just like discard who the third person is.
Yes.
But to keep
Or
it.
your emotions and feelings and
Yeah.
thoughts, you know what I mean?
think to keep it kind of fair for everyone, yes, you should express how you're feeling, but that should be a conversation amongst all three of those
and then
people.
you work it out.
Of being like, hey, this isn't what I thought we were going into this as. Like, I think you're great, but if we, like, in reference to, say, Megan as the additional person, like, you know, we didn't hit it off. Like, I know you guys have feelings. I don't want to, like, invalidate that. And just go from there. But keep that as like a group thing.
Yeah. God, that would be like a rough situation, though. I bet it. I mean, I'm sure it happens.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure it
I mean,
does.
we've heard it happen.
Yeah. And that's
Again,
gotta
we
be
were
it.
very fortunate that the three of us work so well together.
Yeah, and sorry for everyone that it didn't work out
Yeah,
for.
sorry.
We've heard from a few people that the unicorn hunting, they've been on the opposite end, so not in the partnership, the third person that's trying to come in. Horror stories of like
Being discarded.
being discarded, or, you know, I thought everything was really going really well, but the wife or the husband got different feelings and then they just ended it with me. You know, I think if somebody wasn't into the third person, that's fine. But I think that the conversation needs to be had.
Yeah.
And I think too with us, we don't look, there's nobody who's in charge. We all view ourselves as individuals choosing to be in this relationship.
Yeah.
Like you're not the boss of me, Alana's not the boss of me, I'm not the boss of you two.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, I want the best for you both because I love you. You want the best for me because you love me.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's figure out how to work the best together.
Yeah. Well, we luckily got there. But say if you're in the beginning of something and you don't love me, but you love Alana, it's got to be a hard situation too for you to be in.
But
Of
what I'm saying is like in those other situations, maybe the male or the female was like, no, we're done with this.
yeah.
Where it's like, we would never have that situation because what do you mean we? Like you might be done with it,
Yeah.
but
But you chose to go into this with
yeah,
me.
and
Now
you don't
we're going.
speak for us.
Yeah.
Like I'm a human being. I have my own thoughts, feelings. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's something before starting this to realize might happen.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that to happen. Maybe have a conversation with your partner and be like, hey, how do you want to handle this if this happens? Because this is like reality. I could, catch feelings and you might not. Like, how do we want to do this? Like, be prepared for anything because you are involving a lot of people's emotions. You don't want to hurt anybody. People do get hurt, which sucks. But like
in every relationship,
there is a way to go about things to like lessen the blow on that, I think.
Well, and ultimately just be transparent and just be honest with yourself and others. I think a lot of times people like they're afraid of hurting the other person or their partner, and they kind of make it worse.
Yeah, you end up hurting them more when you stretch things out.
Yeah. Or you just like, it's okay if you start feeling like you don't want to be you don't want to be in that type of relationship anymore. Or you explore your sexuality. Like if I had gone into this and was like, nope, I'm straight. Like, never mind.
Oops.
That would have have that conversation. Don't just be like, okay, like we're going to shut this off. Like it's important to be honest and be like, hey, so this is actually where I'm at. And I want to be honest with you for your own sake because like I respect both of your lives and your time, and I want you to be happiest. And if I was just like choking something down and then it just kind of dampens it for everyone.
Yeah.
It's important to just be honest because that's going to be the best result for everyone in the end.
Yeah.
So playing that situation out, how would you handle it? So we go into the situation, we meet Megan. Let's just assume Megan is single at this point. And we hang out a few times, fool around, have fun. And you come to this realization of, I don't think I am bi. But time has passed and emotions and feelings have developed between us. How would you handle that?
That's a really good question. I mean, it's hard to kind of reverse my mindset on that because I developed feelings.
Yeah,
of course.
But I think if I had not and I realized I was straight, but I recognized like you guys had developed feelings, I would, bring it to your attention of like, hey, this is where I'm at. Like I am not actually bisexual and I'm sorry for, bringing you into this experience and not reciprocating. Cause I know you were into this because you're also bisexual.
Which I knew. Yeah.
Yeah. So having an experience with both male and female is a large part of it for you as well.
Yeah.
So I think I would just have a sit down conversation with you both and just
go from there.
Yeah. Just go from there and recognize your guys' feelings and kind of leave that up to you. And if we wanted to shift the dynamic of what it was, like be understanding of that, because I don't want to just go into that and be like, well, we decided to do this together, so bye.
Well, and that's another thing to think about. Say if someone is in your guys' situation going into this, when you're speaking to someone for the first time, being really upfront with like, hey, I'm bi-curious. I'm not really sure. Like
There is a scenario where I'm actually not bisexual.
Yeah, so like I'd like to experiment with you. If I'm just being fully transparent. It could be a one-time thing and like never again. I think you just, like you said, just be upfront, like right out the gate, because it'll save so many people's feelings.
Yeah, and it's important to recognize too that in this situation, you recognize this was another human being. It's not like a toy that you're going to try out or go to the, a car dealership to take a car out for a spin because you're like, you know what? Matter of fact, I think I am an all-wheel drive person and I'm all-wheel drive curious. So I'm going to take this car out for a couple spins.
Give it an oil change.
And then find out, you know what? I'm not. I'm a two-wheel drive kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think, again, I don't know how I would feel in that situation because that totally shifts what we were initially going into this for. But you guys know, I kind of get emotional attachment to like everything, like clothes, jobs, people. And so even if I didn't have that like intimate feeling for you, if I realized like, oh, I'm straight, like that's not there for me, I would really care for you as a person. Right. And so yeah, I wouldn't want to go in and just like break that up for you guys and be like, nope, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I would have to like kind of put that in your court. Cause again, like that would be a conversation for you guys to have as well of, you know, if that's not what you were looking for, if you wanted to,
A male and a female.
yeah, to
Because
like,
in that situation, I might be like, okay, well, I'll continue dating Kevin, but I also am going to date other females.
yeah,
Like that might make him completely uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I also think that you would know pretty soon after having like intimacy with another woman if you like it or not. Like that would,
yeah, it wouldn't,
So I don't think that the relationship would have gone on really long after that without you knowing, as long as you were being true to yourself.
And you, not just true to yourself, but you communicate it. Because if she sees me and is like, oh my God, he's so happy, I don't want to hurt him,
Yeah.
and tell them, I'm just going to suppress it and kind of pretend
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I
Don't
care
do
about
that.
my, yeah, don't do that.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
again, that
Honesty is the
dampens
best
the
policy.
experience for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I mean, right from the start, like making your profile. Like a lot of people ask us, where like can we meet somebody like in your guys' situation?
Or what should I put on my profile?
Yeah, like what do I do? Like put it out there. If this is your first time like experimenting in this kind of situation, like when you talk to somebody for the first time, tell them that. Be like,
Yeah.
you know, we are just experimenting. Like we're not sure if this is what we want, just so that other person really knows what to expect and can prepare themselves emotionally, I think is important.
Well, and that is how we met. We met on an app called 3 Fun. So it was designed for relationships types like this. If we were
Or
trying experiences, yeah. If we did not have the app, I have no advice for those who are not using an app because I don't know what I would do. I don't know how you meet someone in the wild.
Yeah.
Well,
know?
one of the things that we've heard is, and I haven't heard of, I don't know any situation or story. And if you have sent it to us, I apologize. I'm just having a brain fart. But where the couple will involve a friend from the woman or the man, and then they kind of get together. And most of the time, I'll say most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, it doesn't end well.
Yeah, like
and then
the
that
stories we've
friendship
heard.
with the original person is now tainted. It's different. So it's not to say don't try that, but just be aware of the risks, and it could impact that relationship that you have.
For sure.
We do know a few success stories of that. I don't know if any of those people are open, so I won't
Out them.
out them. Yeah, I won't discuss who they are, but we do know a few success stories. But again, we have heard some other stories that,
A majority of the stories have not ended well.
that the friendship then ended. And it's like, well, shoot, that's really tough.
Right.
But it's also like, do you take that chance? Like if you're feeling something?
Yeah.
Risk it to get that biscuit, I suppose, dude.
Gotta pay to
I
play.
suppose.
But yeah, we met on 3 Fun. I know there's like Field. I mean, even Tinder. I think people
Tinder
do
has options.
like
for it.
options for that. What I've noticed a lot lately, which I don't know, this is just I'm like getting a little older and I'm on Facebook, but there are a lot of like throuple groups on Facebook where people go on, you post a picture of you two or you single saying what you're looking for, because these people are exclusively looking for a relationship. They're not looking to just hook up.
Yeah.
Which
So that's
sometimes the apps are.
for more hooking up or for
Yeah.
experiences. Yeah. So like I would suggest trying out Facebook if you are looking, because I've seen that a lot on, if you just type in like throuple, a lot of those groups, and there's like thousands of people in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my suggestion.
That's a good suggestion.
That's a good suggestion.
But yeah, overall, the whole thing, I say if everyone's consenting, like all the cards are on the table, you're not being an asshole, you're not trying to hurt anybody, like you can do this in a way where, you know, it is possible. And it's I think there's a way to do it without like, I don't know, ruining your relationship. Like you can just be honest and open with each other.
And recognize that the odds are against you.
Yeah.
Because finding one, it's true though.
Yeah.
Like finding one person that you really connect with is difficult. Now adding another person into that mix and saying like, okay, now we really connect too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
it's
not easy.
yeah.
Like
We just got lucky.
We just got lucky. Yeah. People ask us all the time, like, how do I get what you have? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I wish the best for you, and I hope you find, like, if this is really what you want, but I do think there is some chance in it.
Or maybe it's just the universe, right? Just deciding this is the time for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't done enough personal development. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
This is true. The universe is a powerful thing.
It
So
sure
you
is.
had some questions.
Yeah, so we do ask you guys all the time for your questions, and we thought we would actually print some out and answer them today.